What are some biological life hacks that actually work? If you're worried you're gonna throw up, your mouth usually fills with saliva a minute or two beforehand because the contents of your own stomach are harmful to your throat. It's a pretty good indication that you're gonna hurl. I find if I spit that saliva out, I can't avoid throwing up. If I swallow it, I'll throw up. Since I hate throwing up, I spit and spit and spit until my brain is like, okay then. You can do those spot the differences pictures instantly with a little practice. It's the same technique you use for free viewing stereo photo pairs. Cross your eyes until the two pictures merge, and then, this is the hard part and it takes some practice, bring the merged image into focus. The differences between the two will stand out as depth anomalies in an otherwise flat image. This works because your brain is set up to compare the images from each eye to determine the depth of every point based on the parallax shift. The parts of the two flat images will still be a flat image at a different depth when you cross your eyes, but your brain doesn't know what to do with the parts that don't match up and they look weird in a way that's hard to describe. I've compared whole documents a page at a time this way. You can spot a single letter difference in a whole page, in a language you don't even read. Every time I pee I scratch this one spot on my back. Now when it is important that I pee before a long car ride or know I am going to a place without a restroom, I go to the bathroom and scratch that spot on my back and I start to pee whether or not I had to. Nice, you've trained yourself. Go Pavlov. Rolling around and stretching on the floor for 5-10 minutes helps to relieve a huge amount of body ache soreness for me. It's something I'm doing fairly regularly now because it works miracles when I'm physically spent at the end of a long day. Highly recommended. OP is a cat confirmed. Cramped your foot? Grab your big toe, pull it forward and wiggle it about as fast as possible. Cramp goes away. Not sure if it's just a placebo type effect, but it works every time for me. This is called autogenic inhibition. You're stretching the muscles which causes an automatic reflex in the muscle, using Golgi tendon organs which sense muscle tension to release the cramp. This is also why standing on your leg when you have a Charlie horse is the fastest relief. If you have a bit of acid reflux, sleep on your left side. However, if you experience it frequently, talk to your doctor. If you take a warm shower before you get in bed, your core temperature will drop as you lie in bed, because it rose in the shower, which your body reads as a stage of falling asleep, leading you to fall asleep much faster. I'm an insomniac. Most prescription sleep meds don't work for me, but this plus better sleep hygiene has helped me a ton. If you get a stitch in your chest, usually from running or just random, that bothers you when you breathe in past a certain point, you have to brace yourself and breathe in all the way quickly. The trick is to do it like the lung equivalent of pulling off a band-aid. As someone who gets these all THW got some time, 80% of the time it'll be gone immediately. It's called a precordial catch. I find it too painful to breathe in all the way, so instead I hold my breath right at the point where it starts to hurt. It goes away after holding my breath for just a few seconds. I guess that's the equivalent of peeling the plaster off carefully. The pinhole effect. If you're short or long-sighted, then take off your glasses and make a tiny hole with your hand. Look through it and read something you normally couldn't. For photographers, doing this serves to reduce the aperture, thereby increasing your depth of field and putting more things in focus. My friend who quit smoking recently told me this. He used to smoke majorly to relieve work stress, not that he was too fond of smoking. His yoga teacher told him the reason he felt relieved when he smoked was because the long puffs of smoke he inhaled and exhaled were nothing but deep breaths. He advised him to sit and practice deep breathing whenever he feels like smoking. It's been 2 months since he quit, he says. All we need is to breathing deeply in this fast-paced life. My father had a knee replacement a few years ago and tried to tough out the post-op period at home without any opiates. This led to one incident of pretty severe pain. He doesn't normally beg us to kill him, which made him finally pop some Percocets, but before the drugs kicked in he was still thrashing around in agony. To take his mind off it, I started asking him about his college apartment in all kinds of elaborate detail, like what kind of carpet was on the floor, what color shower curtain did they have, what sort of dishes and on what shelves were they kept, etc. etc. It forced him to focus his attention on his memories of this place and not on the pain he was currently experiencing. It was successful, at least long enough for the drugs to start doing real work on the problem. My friend uses this tactic to help people if they're having a panic attack or have gone similarly funny from ingesting too many recreational substances. Asks them to describe something in detail, keeps them focused on something else and distract them from being worked up. It's a great idea. If you get brain freeze, either breathe with your mouth open for a few seconds and power through, or try to use your tongue to warm the roof of your mouth. Not sure if this fits here, but vinegar is super useful in a lot of ways. I'm a very greasy and sweaty person, and sometimes my BO builds up to the point where I can still smell it fresh out of the shower. I also tend to get jock itch and athlete's foot pretty often, and have tried tons of things to fix these problems, including prescriptions, but ultimately found vinegar to be the best. Just spray some on the problem area, wait a few minutes, and hop in the shower. The vinegar kills the bacteria which cause the issue. It kills odor so well you'll probably be able to get away with not using deodorant for a few days after, even. Not that you should, though. It's also a great antihistamine. Instantly soothes itching, which also makes it great on sunburns and insect stings, particularly apple cider vinegar. Not only does it make the sunburn stop itching, but it stops the pain as well, and seems to temper the sunburn into a tan, and minimizes peeling as well. I really can't emphasize enough how well it works on sunburns. More soothing and helpful than aloe, for sure. It stinks, but only for about 5 minutes, and you'll eventually get over the shock of the smell. Oh, and the first time on the scrotum will sting a little. Your skin issues might be fungal. Vinegar works well against fungi, but antibiotics can worsen fungal infections, because the bacteria it kills are competition to the fungus and help keep it in check. If you get up to go to the toilet at night, close one eye and keep it closed while the lights are on. When you turn the light back off, the closed eye will still be adjusted to the dark. I just wear an eye patch to bed and switch it around after I've swabbed the poop deck. I might be late to the party, but if you mildly hurt yourself like a stubbed toe or a paper cut, pinch yourself elsewhere and focus on that feeling. Your body assumes it's more painful and stops feeling the pain from the other spot as much. It helps lessen the length you have to deal with the pain of the injury. I don't think this will work for gunshot wounds or decapitations, but I haven't had the chance to test it yet. My teacher in grade school used to literally kick us in our shins if we said we had a headache. Worked great and everyone loved her. Hate running? Try changing your stride to lots of smaller, shorter steps. Went from 3 miles being a monumental hurdle to twice a week 8-mile runs feeling great. It's a lot easier on your knees and feet too. Also, audiobooks help with the boredom. Run outside, not on a treadmill. To add to this, if you hate running cardio because it makes you feel like you can't breathe, you might have asthma. I learned just recently that I had an activity-induced form of asthma, and that most people don't feel pain in their lungs when they run. For those times when you need to get rid of your pesky gag reflex, take your left thumb, fold it into your palm, and hold it firmly in your left fist. Continue to hold it as you take your right index finger and press it on the middle of your throat. Continue to hold your left thumb in your left fist until the job's done. Voila! You're freed from the limitations of your throat, at least for a little while. I'm no butcher, but I think this works due to you concentrating on something other than whatever it is you are trying to do. If you have a blocked nose right now, try this. Exhale completely out of your mouth until your lungs are empty. Do not breathe back in yet. Pinch your nose with thumb and forefinger. Don't breathe yet. Tilt your head all the way back, and then all the way forward. Do not breathe in yet. Repeat a head tilting exercise for as long as you can. Hold your breath. When you can't hold it anymore, let go of your nose and breathe in a nice lungful. Your nose will be clear, at least for long enough to use some nasal spray and clear it properly. This is awesome. You look a total dong and I've no idea how it works, but it does. I could have really done with this a couple of days ago. The stinking cold is abating now. Raising your feet and lean forward when pooping. Imagine a downhill skier's body position. No straining due to mimicking the action of squat toilets. Or just use a squat toilet. Or purchase a squatty potty. I've seen these on the market now and am thinking of having my husband make one. For hiccups, take a deep breath, swallow twice, then exhale slowly out of your nose. I have no clue why it works. I just had hiccups yesterday and googled how to get rid of them and this worked. I'll definitely be using it next time. I tell myself to hiccup again and get all stressed with myself. Go on, hiccup again. And the pressure of trying to force an involuntary action seems to prevent further hiccups. If you get a lot of mild headaches that feel like they might be caffeine headaches, or maybe tension headaches, try drinking more water. They could be caused by dehydration. Also, if you're tired. Sometimes in the morning before my shower I'll sit on the toilet to pee rather than stand. When I'm done peeing I'll continue to just sit there and read the news or whatever on my phone. 7 times out of 10 I'll end up pooping if I sit there long enough. This prevents that horrible situation where you shower then as soon as you get out you have to poop. I'm not a morning person, so perhaps if I got up a little earlier and had a cup of coffee things would progress naturally, but this works for me. If you want to make yourself sneeze, try staying in a dark place for a while and then going out into the sun. For 18 to 35% of people, that'll induce a sneeze due to the photic sneeze effect, or autosomal dominant compelling helio-ophthalmic outburst syndrome, ACHOO, because scientists especially love a good acronym. Thank you. I am one of the 18-35%, but nobody else at work is apparently because everyone acted like I was insane when I told them to look at the sun if they need to sneeze. Glad to hear this is a real thing. If you're out drinking, have a glass of water in between every alcoholic drink. A big percentage of hangovers is just dehydration. I do this every time I drink and I've never had a hangover. Also OP, is your username a Destiny reference? If someone else has hiccups, ask them when the last time they saw a white horse was. They'll think about it for a split second, then give you some sort of answer, then their hiccups are gone. Sometimes I do this to random people and not even tell them why I asked. They usually walk away thinking I'm some sort of weirdo, but hey, their hiccups are gone. Doesn't work if they are currently looking at a white horse. If you need to draw a straight line without a ruler, draw 2 dots and put your pencil on one of them. Stare at the other dot and draw your line without looking anywhere else. Our brains will automatically make your hand go to where you are looking, creating a straight line. Our brains will automatically make your hand go to where you are looking, creating a straight line. This extends to driving. 2. Shoulder checks are great, but looking off to one side for more than a moment will cause you to start to drift to that side. Unless you knowingly compensate for it, then you'll probably start to drift the other way accidentally instead. You can help loosen a plugged sinus by alternating pushing on the roof of your mouth with your tongue or thumb, then using your other hand to push just above the bridge of the nose. Also, a finger up the rectum is the best hiccups cure. I'm serious. No wonder why I never get hiccups. Not sure if this counts, but putting food on a smaller plate tricks your body into feeling like it ate more, supposedly. From one of those "what the frick did I just read" moments, females, when constipated, could apparently move their fecal matter by inserting their fingers into their vaginas and guiding it out of their anus. Stand upright with your side pressed against a wall. Now, try to lift your arm with all of your might against the wall, even though the wall prevents your arm from moving. The motion you want to try to do is the same as doing a lateral arm lift. Do this for about 20 to 30 seconds. Now turn away from the wall and relax your arms. SPOOKIGHOSTs will magically lift your arm up. 7. Spoopy 9 me. Do you want immunity from infections without actually being sick? Try subcutaneous injections of weakened and/or inactivated virus and bacteria. The bacteria and virus will not produce symptoms, but your body will still make antibodies, providing often a lifelong immunity. Just ask your doctor about the greatest biological hack ever invented: vaccination. Yo, seriously, start getting exercise. That crap works. Go hard. Go beyond what you expect you can do. You'll feel great. I feel like I must be exercising wrong. I've never experienced anything like an exercise high. I just feel tired, bored and sweaty no matter what I do. I keep doing it because I know it's healthy, but it never stops feeling like an unpleasant chore. Meanwhile my co-workers talk about running like it's sea and I don't understand at all. If you feel tired all the time and other causes have been ruled out, you might actually be dehydrated. Dehydration can cause exhaustion. Try drinking 2 more small bottles of water a day and see if you feel better. Same goes with unexplained aches and pains that have no known cause. Dehydration causes muscle cramping. For tinnitus, stolen from another sort of thread, place the palms of your hands over your ears with fingers resting gently on the back of your head. Your middle fingers should point toward one another just above the base of your skull. Place your index fingers on top of your middle fingers and snap them the index fingers onto the skull making a loud, drumming noise. Repeat 40-50 times. Some people experience immediate relief with this method. Repeat several times a day for as long as necessary to reduce tinnitus. Dr. Jan Stridham, of A2Z of Health, Beauty and Fitness Org. Yeah, I heard about this. Does not work for me. Not a human body related one, and pretty late to the party, but you can grow a stick into a bush or tree. For example, you come across a raspberry bush and you wish you had a raspberry bush. Here's what you do. Ideally, you wait until the plant is dormant, maybe between November and March, in the northern hemisphere, depending on where you live. Basically when the plant has no leaves. Cut off a stick a foot long or a little more, 30+ cm. It should have several little fat spots on it, called nodes or buds. Keep the stick wet. Once you get it home, gently peel back an inch or so of the bark at the bottom. Some people add a substance called rooting hormone at this point, available at any garden store. Stick it in dirt, so that 1 or 2 buds are out of the dirt, maybe covering 1, 2, 3 of the stick. Water the dirt. The pro tip at this point is to keep the bottom of the dirt warm, but the top of the plant cool. It's not always required, but helps a lot. People use heat mats for this. This is no slam dunk, but half the time or better, you'll get a new plant. Cloning is not just for laboratories. Also, ground cinnamon can also be used instead of rooting powder, and it's much cheaper. If you often find yourself lying half awake wondering if you really need to go to the bathroom or if you can go back to sleep and ignore it, the thing to do is tell yourself now that when you recognize that situation you must immediately get up and go. Because let's face it, you will eventually anyway. Your half asleep brain is very bad at making decisions. Make the decision now and your half asleep brain will know it was a good decision, made while you were in a better state, and you can trust yourself to just do it. Then go back to sleep. Go for an alternating walk/run for 10-15 minutes every night if you're depressed at a low point. Before I had a timer, I would literally count the seconds to time my walk/run intervals in my head. It's fast, easy, cheap exercise. I don't get too sweaty so I don't necessarily have to shower afterwards. Counting the seconds gets your mind off of any upsetting thoughts. The night air is cool and refreshing and you don't have to sweat in the sun and everyone else's stares, and afterwards you get to drop off into a happy, blissful sleep with your mind soaked in happy exercise chemicals. Bonus, you lose weight, tone up. For males, sorry gals, to get rid of that underwear dribble that happens after you go pee at a urinal, use your finger, press it against your scrotum, near your taint, and while keeping it pressed, slide it in the direction away from your taint. You'll know you've done it correctly when you get one last squirt of urine and no more dribbles. A remedy for the old, truly old, quip. No matter how you shake, wiggle or dance, the last 3 drops go down your pants. Thanks friend. Vitamin fricking D. Started taking it along with a multivit and I not only get sick less but I'm so much happier. I used to struggle with frequent depression and now it's rare. Vit D won't work for everyone but holy crap, give it a try. You've got nothing to lose. Just don't take more than 10,000 IU a day for more than 3 months because you'll get toxicity. I take 4,000 IU a day. Talk to your doctor about dose. I'd imagine taking 22 pounds a day of anything wouldn't be good for you. If you're laying in bed and half your nose is blocked, roll to the side where the clear nostril is against your pillow and you'll find that within about a minute, your blocked nostril will open and you can breathe easy. And then in a few minutes the other one is clogged, so repeat the process. Weight loss is 75 to 100% diet. Going to the gym and running a mile does not burn as much calories as you think. A professor did a study where he only ate Twinkies for a month. Because the caloric intake was low, he lost weight, or maintained. This truly showed it was the volume and less about the contents of what we eat which controls our weight. Obviously you get no essential vitamins and nutrients from just Twinkies. I don't advocate it, but all these diet fads are useless. The key concept is controlling caloric intake. That's all it takes. Arlo Seat calls it SICO or calories in, calories out. As long as you stay in a deficit, you will lose weight. I am 12 pounds down in a little over a month using this method. The only exercise I get is walking 10,000 steps a day. Awkward boner, need to get rid of is fast. If you're sitting down, just push your feet as hard as you can into the ground for 10-15 seconds. This will flex your leg muscles and more blood will go to them than the boner. Where was this when I needed it? If you think you have a medical problem, deal with it. I know it's scary. Source: denial. That lump in breast almost killed me. Finally faced it. Fighting stage 3 for my life. They told me if I'd put it off as little as 1 month more, I'd be dead now. Use your fingertips to raise your brow and rest lightly on your fingers this way for a minute or so. Relieves sinus pressure and stress headaches. I've worked in mental health and we had our clients do this to cool off, since feeling crappy after yelling often made them act crappy. Eventually they understood as much themselves and took steps to try and cool off on their own, in this way and other ways. If you are shy like me and get a little nervous before walking into a party or something, then try, while alone, making yourself as big as possible by raising your arms over your head and exaggerated posture. This won't give you a night of confidence, but it works for a little temporary boost. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.